Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Elevated Marketing Podcast, where we simplify complicated digital marketing topics to make your business grow. Today, we're going to talk about how strong the adaptability of your marketing strategy really needs to be, and really just focusing in how you got to be super adaptable in today's market. So let's do our fun question. And I think this relates to being adaptable. We'll see. How late is too late to cancel a plan with someone?
Well, I mean, I think a 24-hour notice is like the
Acceptable.
latest it can be. I mean, I get things come up and like things we can't control and things we,
Yeah.
can't foresee. But if it's just because you simply don't want to do it, 24-hour cancellation or you owe me, like,
Oh, yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
getting your deposit back.
Yeah. You know what? You never know if like it's because they don't want to do it or they just like making something up or what.
Mhm.
So like I think there's definitely a common courtesy. But of course if you're sick or there's things like that. But if you're gonna like cancel plans with somebody, like you gotta give them like I'm a planner. I'm like I
Mhm.
probably rearranged all this stuff.
Or plan your day around this event and
There's nothing worse than surprises in my days because I'm very structured. Like I know what I'm doing probably 2 or 3 days in advance.
Mhm. Yep, I'm not a very spontaneous person, so I'm like you in that I like my structure.
I'm spontaneous, but sometimes it's like, no, I don't have time to meet with you right now. Like,
Mhm.
I do have things I have planned out for today.
Yes.
All right. So, I mean, I do think this relates though to being adaptable in your marketing, and it's not just like like something you have to have, but it's not just like an advantage, but today's marketing really requires that you are like it's a necessity to be
Mhm.
adaptable.
Yeah, and we've always said before, like, "Oh, you have to be adaptable. If you're a marketer, you have to be adaptable." But I think today more than ever, like not only you, but your marketing strategy has to be
Yeah.
very, very adaptable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a couple years back, a lot of people would talk heavily about, the agile marketing methodology, which is basically the same thing. It's about, looking to see like what's working, what's not, and being agile and changing your plans up. And so, first of all, to be agile or to be adaptable, you got to make sure that you have regular reviews to your marketing. And I think I've seen some people have this, and some people, they just kind of set it and forget it. And I think that's a recipe for disaster in today's world.
Mhm. So many changes happen so often and so quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I think another thing that people don't consider is making sure that you have enough resources to be adaptable. So, if you have a really small team and, there's all these reasons come up that make you have to change your strategy, it's harder to turn
Mhm.
when you don't have enough resources.
Yeah. Well, and I can remember when I was being hired on, one of the questions were, how adaptable do you see yourself? So you have to have the right resources that are adaptable and want to be, you know.
Yeah. Well, and resources is team members.
Mhm.
And I think, I think about mindset, and I think, a good example is the whole AI revolution kind of going on right now. And you have some people who are okay, AI is here. I need to adapt. I need to, see what I need to change in my strategy. And other people are staunch fighting against it. And, what I say to that is AI is not going to take your job, but those who use AI are going to take your job.
Mhm.
Like,
So true.
and you've got to adapt. So, but you might not be, the other thing is like, you might not be in a culture that really encourages like that experimentation. Um, I think in our roles as marketers today, like, we got to be okay with that didn't work the first time we did it because we're all dealing with things that are brand new and we've never seen before.
Mhm. Yeah. It's going in it with the mindset of we're testing, we're figuring it out, we're learning. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that data analysis, I think for a long time in marketing, there were like these things that you could do, and no matter what, like that's gonna work.
Mhm.
And people look for these marketing strategies like, well, if we just do this, then it's gonna be perfect. And you can go into any marketing plan or strategy and have this hypothesis, but the data is what's going to be like, well, you know what? That didn't work the way we thought it would work.
Mhm.
And you got to be adaptable.
Yeah. 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 Well, and you can't grow attached to these strategies that you set in place because if you do, then you're not going to want to change things when the data is telling you a different story.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
we like to have sort of a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan so on and so forth when we go into new strategies.
Yeah. So let's talk about like some of the things that cause, you to have to be super adaptable. And one of the things is the algorithm updates.
Mhm.
These social media platforms, even search engines, they're constantly changing like what you need in order to, be successful in those platforms. And that's super challenging.
Yeah, that really does alter your strategies in multiple different channels. But where it really might alter is your content, because what do we always say? It all starts with content.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's just going to alter everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely shifts in marketing trends. There are trends, such as the rise of video that we've seen in the last couple of years that we still see some people, trying to adjust to, well, I need to do short form video. And I'm like, yeah, you needed to do that like 2 years ago or a
Mhm.
year and a half ago. Like you're way past, that trend. And when you have that mindset and you're like just you kind of, who knows, like it could shift here again and you're like it's too late.
Mhm. Yeah, it's very important to keep up with industry trends. I know our team, we a lot of times will go through and kind of share with the team what we've learned this week that's new in the marketing
Yeah.
industry. And yeah, it just helps us.
Gotta stay ahead.
Yeah.
I think there's platforms that come in and out. You know, I would say the most major recent one, not that it's really that recent, is like maybe TikTok, but that one stuck. But I think of other platforms and things that have come about. Like I can't even think of what it's called, but like Facebook came out with that, what is it, trends or something where
Yeah.
I I never get on there, but I know some people who do. Or Clubhouse, or
Mhm.
like there's so many like, oh, like this might be the next big thing, and then it comes out and it ends up being like not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Well, and I think what's important to pay attention to is those newer platforms that are sticking around, such as TikTok. I mean, TikTok and that algorithm, really helped change a lot of things and algorithms that we're seeing on other platforms.
Right. So it changed the algorithm there. I mean, that's an excellent point. That doesn't mean you need to be on TikTok, because I don't
Right.
necessarily think everybody should be on TikTok,
Right.
depending on your audience demographics. But all the other platforms, fell suit, and who sees your content and who doesn't has completely changed.
Mhm.
And that makes it so you're like, oh, okay, well, now I need to adapt to this.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I think we already kind of mentioned it, but data is another. If you're living the mindset of data-driven marketing, data is going to constantly make you challenge and change your strategy,
Mhm.
and you can't get um, you can't get comfortable. You got to constantly be shaking it up when it comes to marketing.
Yeah. Well, and even some of the data points that we really paid attention to, say even 2 years ago versus today, those have changed in a sense. We're
Oh
really looking at
yeah.
different data points.
You could say that 100 times over.
Yeah.
Like, that has changed a ton, and that's because technology has changed, and
Mhm.
our ability to track this or track that has completely changed. And so, I mean, if there was ever a time that you have to be more adaptable than any, I would say it right now. Like, it's like lightning speed, like, changes that are
Mhm.
happening.
For sure.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with. All right. Well, we've written a whole blog post on this, so if you want to go over to our website and kind of read the rest of it, feel free. You can visit us at elevatedmarketing.solutions, and the blog post is "How strong is the adaptability of your marketing strategy?" Any last minute thoughts?
I think don't go blind to new changes and don't have tunnel vision. Don't put it off just because there's something new. It doesn't mean it's not for you.
Or because it's hard?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Take care, everybody.